Chapter 2, Mishnah 7. This Mishnah lists foods of an idolater that are entirely permitted, even though we would have had reason to believe that they may be prohibited. The list includes many of the items prohibited in the previous Mishnah, permitting them when certain conditions are fulfilled. These items of idolaters are permitted for Jews, even for eating milk that an idolater milked with a Jew seeing him, in which case there is no concern that the idolater may have mixed in milk of a non-kosher animal, honey of an idolater, and grape clusters, even though they are dripping with their own juices. Having mentioned the law of purchasing from an idolater grapes that are dripping with their own juices, the Mishnah teaches the law applying to such grapes with regard to tumah. As a rule, food does not become tameh unless it has first become wet through contact with certain specific liquids. The Mishnah applies that law to this case. These grapes are not considered prepared for tumah by a liquid because they are meant to be eaten and the owner is not interested in the liquid dripping out of them. The Mishnah continues its list of items of idolaters that may even be eaten by a Jew. Also permitted are pickled foods such as vegetables, kosher fish, and meats, if they are the type into which idolaters typically do not put wine or vinegar, in which case the foods remain permissible. Taurus fish that is not finely chopped and can thus be recognized as a kosher species. Fish brine that has kilbis fish swimming in it, which show that the brine is from kosher fish. The leaf of chiltis, which is not cut and thus does not contain non-kosher flavors, and cakes of softened olives. According to another Tana, there's an exception to the last law. Rabbi Yossi says olives that drop their pits, that is, their pits fall out when the olives are picked up, are prohibited, as we must assume that the olives became so soft because their owner soaked them in wine. The Torah in Leviticus chapter 11, verse 21, permits eating certain species of grasshoppers. The Mishnah discusses whether such grasshoppers may be purchased from idolaters. Grasshoppers of kosher species that are being sold by an idolater from the basket are prohibited, because he pours his non-kosher wine on them to soften them right before he sells them. But those that he sells from the storage bin are permitted, because idolaters do not pour wine on the grasshoppers in the storage bin, so that they should not get ruined. The Mishnah teaches another law with similar rules. The same is true regarding terumah. Produce in the basket of an untrustworthy Kohen, which is being sold as chulin, is prohibited, because we fear that it is really terumah that he is trying to sell at the higher price of chulin. However, produce from his storage bin is permitted.